All right, guys, I'm gonna let everybody know that we're getting started here, and then we'll get going. Let's see here. My trading. Oops. Starts. No. Okay, let's get started here. So, one of the things that we're looking at here is, let me make sure you can see my screen. Yep. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets first, and we'll go with this bigger screen here. So, first thing is, we're gonna have an update on the algo indicator soon. Biggest thing is we're going to be adjusting the buy and sell signals to be more quicker and also I think more effective in getting uh, entry zone tactics to get in at better prices. So I've been working on the signals for a few months now at this point. Um, and testing them. And then also the trend bars. I'm completely revamping the trend bars. If you can see here, these are the new trend bars that we're going to be working with. And this is Thinkorswim, but they're the same on TradingView. And then so the purpose of the trend bars is to reflect, okay, the markets are what is the trend of the chart? This more accurately reflects the trend of the chart or the emerging trend of the chart. Also gives you a good gauge mainly on the indexes, and that's how
I
we
am Dr.
plan to
King
use it.
Schultz, a legal representative of
So
the criminal
if
justice
you are
system of
seeing
the United
green trend bars here, then that means, hey, if SPY has green trend bars, that means we're in a strong uptrend and you want to be a buyer in that market, right? If it goes to yellow, that means it's more of a cautionary uh, situation. So it's almost green is go, uh, yellow is caution, and then on both sides, and then red is short. Okay. So that's the newest update. Right now, the trend bars indicate chop. They indicate a strong uptrend, strong downtrend. This one, these are more just completely redone. And so I think they're extremely effective in trying to put together the actual trend of what's going on. Um, and so right now, we're in a green trend environment, right? So for SPY and QQQ, we are in an uptrend, and that's how we're going to trade it. So right now, little cautionary on QQQ, but the main index we pay attention to, SPY, made a new all-time high and is looking pretty good here. So few updates going to be coming out soon on the indicator, the buy signals, and the trend bars are the two main things. And then lastly, I'm still playing with these and testing them, but the reversion to the mean signals. These aren't necessarily signals where you want to trade them, but they are signals of, hey, you should either be taking profit here or, hey, the market looks like it might pull back to the 21 EMA. And it depends on whatever time frame you're looking at. So here's an example. Here's another example. Back in here was an example. We have fading momentum and then eventually rolled over. And so this is meant to be a really good gauge of, okay, how should we be trading the market? And a lot of these gauges we'll be using, like the trend bars and then these reversion to the mean signals, those are mainly to be used. Well, obviously, they'll be helpful on the stocks that you trade, but more importantly, they're going to be really helpful in trying to decide uh, how should I be evaluating the market? So that's where I've found them to be most useful. You can see we have a sell signal here. You're not going to want to keep buying, right? And then you have this rollover, and then it tells you when to get back long, cautionary tail. And now, okay, the market is in a downtrend. You don't want to be buying anything. And this is where you can be getting short stocks. And then here's your example here of where we put in this low. You had the reversal signal. And then here we had the green, we flipped from yellow to, or from red to yellow, and then back to green. And then we've had this nice uptrend ever since. And so, that's how I've been. That's what I'm looking to set this up for the next update. So enough of that stuff. Let's talk about the markets. So right now, um, with the markets where they're at, you can see we're still in a clear uptrend, right? And momentum, we've got momentum still pushing to the upside. We had strong buyers show up after Powell speaking on Friday. We do have NVIDIA coming up this week, so just keep an eye on that. But other than that, markets look good. Um, we still have a strong trend. We can take a look at so QQQ, QQQ trying to print a buy signal going into next week. And yeah, this chart looks pretty good. Nice reclaim of the 21. Here was the last buy signals back in here. It looks like it was just a pullback to that 9 EMA, which is that right here. And so as long as we can hold there. So that's that. And then we can take a look at the DIA. Oops. Diamonds. So this one here, you can see we had a buy signal right in through here and gave us this nice move up. And the squeeze is still firing to the upside. And we've hit the 2.5 ATR target on DIA. And you can see that momentum is still shifting to the upside. So that looks good here. Um, and we've kind of broken out from this resistance of 450. So pullback to that might be nice and to get an entry. But that led to a nice move in XLF, which we had buy signals on as well, showing relative strength earlier this week. I know a lot of people played this in the chat. So nice job, whoever traded that. So we had a nice gap up the next day after the buy signals, and I think a few people are playing JPM, which looks good as well. So banks are looking good with the Dow breaking out, and then we can take a look at IWM. IWM looks great. Now this one has monthly buy signals, and I told you guys this a long time ago. So here's the last time we had monthly buy signals, and then there's the move. And then now you can see here we had a monthly buy signal, and now we're getting a nice move and we're up. Uh, let's see, since that about 10% on the index, which is pretty solid. So weird cup and handle type thing going on here, but good looking chart there. From there, we've got the we can take a look at some of the major names here, and then we'll go over the watch list. So, Nvidia's got earnings this week, got bought up right off the weekly nine. Go to the daily chart. You can see we're bouncing right off that level. You can see that the trend is starting to shift a little bit, a little more cautionary. So we have to be aware of that. Let's see, Apple. Apple looks good, still in an uptrend. Take a look at the weekly chart starting to shift. We'll want to keep an eye on this the next few weeks because I think that this one would be a really strong candidate for a new all-time high move. So Apple looks good here. So you can see here we had right now we're retesting the 618. And then you can see we had this reversal signal here, and now we're looking good from there. So weekly chart looks great. Might need to consolidate a bit on the daily chart, but we broke out of this really long-term base. So This really looks good for some upside continuation and will help propel the markets higher if they want to continue higher. Okay. So that's Apple. Take a look at Microsoft. So Microsoft actually pulled back to the weekly nine. We go to the daily chart. You can see here we went from green trend bars to yellow, and now we're into red. So we want to be cautious there and just wait and see what this one has to do. But right now, not one of the ones you want to be trading. We can take a look at SMH. So I am interested in the semiconductors. This one looks good. I'd like to see the trend bar shift, and then we'd look for a long position there. Um, let's see here. So, okay, so now let's get into the watch list a little bit more. So we can go here. So this one, not going to be trading. Okay, so this one, Hut, if you look at the weekly chart, it looks like we're breaking out of a long-term. This could be a stage one moving into stage two, kind of like what we discussed with China. So you can see here we've had the stage one kind of base building for quite some time. We have $20 key resistance here that's now turned to support. We've seen Bitcoin seeing some buying. I'll be interested to see how this one holds up into tomorrow because Bitcoin is down some. But this looks good here in terms of continuation to the upside. So you can see we're building higher lows. We've shifted from red to yellow to green trend bars. And so that looks good. Um, we can go and you can kind of see the last time we had that progression was red to yellow to green when we had buy signals, and boom, we had a huge move. Red to yellow to green, boom, nice move. And then same thing here, red to yellow to green, nice move. So this looks really good for a push upside and a breakout to the upside. And then the daily chart looks really good as well. So we'll want to keep an eye on this. You can see similar thing going on. We went straight from red to actually green right away. So that chart looks awesome. And then yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this one. I'd like to see a pullback, get a pullback to like 22, which would be like the daily 21, right around there for a long position. And yeah, so that looks good. Next one is Soxel. So this one is just a leveraged ETF of XOXX, which is semiconductors. So I really like how we've gone through and we had this sell off here, right? And got this reversal signal. And then now we're moving upside. We're starting to get a sell side signal, but we're holding right at this support now, which is around 240. And the daily chart looks pretty good here. So this one might be a good candidate for a long position to just simply make a move back into a new all-time high. And let's see. So if I go here, then we could see you got that 1272 right at 300. So this one could have some really nice upside potential. Let's check the monthly chart. Yeah, we had monthly buy signal back in here, and you can see now the squeeze still has not fired off, but we've had some big volume coming in the past few months on this one. So with all that being said, I like Soxel. You can see here red to yellow to green trend bars. We've got red to yellow to green trend bars. So can we get a similar move to something like this? That would look good. Or I would like to trade that to the upside and look for a move higher. And then the daily chart looks great. You can see we got a buy into Friday, and this chart looks good. So keep an eye on that one. NNE. So this one, I'm waiting to see if we can reclaim the 21 EMA. It's not ready yet. Uh, SoFi, this one kind of left without us, but this was a relative strength winner. You can see here we had this big move up, got a buy signal on Thursday, and then just took off on Friday. So that one looks great. Uh, Rocket Lab, nothing to say much there. Tesla. Okay, so we are in Tesla. Tesla looks great, I think, and we're bouncing right off the weekly 21. Had strong candle on Friday, and yeah, this one looks excellent. So weekly chart looks really good. You can see we've gone from the red to yellow to green trend bars. Um, we've gone from red to yellow to green trend bars on the daily chart. So this one looks really good for upside. And you can see here, last time we had red to yellow to green and then buy signals and then huge move up. We've got red to yellow to green. So now we can look for a move. Once we break 350, I think we have a pretty clean shot right to 400. So Tesla is currently my biggest position and we're up. We're trading TSLL. We bought this one at 12, about $12 even. So this one we're up about 6% or so, 7%. So this one looks really good. Uh Nothing to say about that one. TEM. So this one looks really good. We bought this back near 70. So we bought this or right at 69, 60 something. And we trimmed on Friday for about 22%, right near the highs actually on Friday, which was nice. But I do think this one is just getting started. We've got a weekly chart that is showing big buyer volume. And I think we're going to head to all-time highs here and eventually $100. So TEM, great looking chart. If you've been following me or trading with me for a while, you've known about KWeb. We bought this one back in here. We took our options off at 150% here, and now we're continuing to break out. Once we got that initial breakout, we talked about adding to the position through how you wanted to. So yin was a way to do that. FXI was a way to do that. CWeb was a way to do that. So right now we're just seeing a really, really nice breakout across the board on these names. So I'm looking for continuation on that, but congrats if you're still holding that. And I think this move is just getting started, similar to how we just discussed about um, see, you can see when I was doing my analysis back in here that I explained to you guys, you can see we put in this low, higher low, and then another higher low, and then we had this really nice breakout. Same thing here. We're just putting in higher lows over and over again. And you can see, looking at this chart, you can kind of see it. Now let's take a look at HUT. See the similarity, right? So you can kind of see how we're continuing to build higher lows. Yep. So I'm looking for something similar in HUT. Hmm. Um, okay, arc. So a lot of the arc names you can see it's a similar basing pattern, right? You're just building higher low after higher low. And we finally break it out. But if I look at the daily chart, you can see on arc, this one looks pretty good for upside. Just keep an eye on this because I think we could see a nice breakout on this. Um, and continuation, we don't really have like any resistance until $100. So you might have a little bit at 90, but yeah, we don't have very much resistance at all on this. But you can see here, ARC on the daily has buy signals. ARC on ARC FinTech has buy signals. ARC X also has buy signals. So we want to keep an eye on this because these names are trending and having looking really good, and they're all printing buy signals as well. So like that whole growth, Kathy Woodstock's kind of sector is all printing buy signals, and I think it's a more shorter term move. And if the indexes continue to move higher, then these will as well. Uh, Pony. So this one I think looks great. We just need to get an inside day breakout or an inside week breakout here. We've traded within the range of this candle for 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row. And I think once we get a breakout above this 16 or this 618 level and the high of this candle, this should have a really nice move up into $20 pretty quickly. Okay. So that one looks good. And you a little late on that one, so we don't need to discuss that. Uh, IYR, so this one looks good. You can see this low that we put in here and this huge volume here on this buyer candle here. Now we're building higher lows. This one looks really good. We've got $100 up here, so I think we could go up and tag that. Elf, this is like a what would you call it? A cup and handle inverse head and shoulders type pattern. So that looks pretty good. Wait, what's the monthly chart look like? Monthly looks okay. So yeah, this one's just not ready yet, but chart looks pretty good. BSX. So this one on the weekly looks great. I think this one might be one to be ready to enter as long as you can buy it below that 107 level. I think this one looks great for a breakout up into like 115-ish. So really good looking chart there. RCAT, you can see here. This one, once we break $10, I think we're gonna have a really uh, quick move of about 30% right off the bat. We're in this one. We are up about 7% or so. So looking for a breakout above 10, we should see a pretty strong move to the upside. Uh, Take two, that one looks pretty good. ABT. Yeah, and I think that's all that I want to cover tonight. So, Hut, Soxel, kind of the main ones that I'm paying attention to. And then once we get earnings out of the way, I think Baba will be a great one to look at as well. So, do you guys have any charts you want me to take a look at? I see ETHA, so I'll go over that one. So, so this you kind of just you missed the boat. So this is just Ethereum. So if we go look at continuous contracts here. If we go, you just completely missed the boat on that. Um, so I'd be waiting for a pullback and a pretty major one if you wanted to invest long term. Here you've got this monthly squeeze that's slingshotting to the upside. So that was the move, and the target is 5,500. It's just if you try to enter here, you don't have anywhere to manage your risk. Okay, so this one looks really good right off that reversal signal right there. So you had one there and then there. And now we've got this huge move to the upside. So you can check out how MSTR looks. So yeah, not too much going on there. But yeah, okay. So yeah, I just think it's too late for that one. There's no good entry from here. MSTR does look pretty good here. You can see last time we bounced off the weekly 50 with a buy signal. That led to a pretty nice move up. So we're doing the same here. FSLR. So this one looks good. I don't have a setup on it right now. The buy signals that were printing for me were right in here, around 82. And then we had that move to 219. Just got a sell signal, but not necessarily going to trade that one. I think this looks good and could have more room to the upside. You just have to be able to give it until like with a stop at like 160. So you have to judge your risk to reward there. But I think if you can get a pullback to like 190, um, stop at 160, looking for 250. That's a 2 to 1 risk to reward, and I think that could be worth playing. So yeah, that one looks good. Could be a massive head and shoulders here. Do you set stops at the level where the trend bars flip from green to yellow? No, I do not. So I use moving averages for my stop loss and ATR levels. So the the trend bars are to tell me the direction of the trend. So um, like you can see here, we were in an uptrend, then it went to yellow, flashed green for a second, then went back to yellow, and then we moved into this red trend. So then we flipped to yellow, and then we flipped to green, and now we've started trending up. So that's how I use that to dictate the trend, especially on like SPY or something like that. So you can see SPY here. We had this nice, so we had a green, we went from yellow to green, and then we went from to yellow, then we went back to red. And then once we went back to green, we had this really nice bull market. Then we went to yellow here, and then you can see we went to yellow, and then we had that massive sell off from earlier this year. And then we went after we had red, we had a sell or a buy signal here. and then we flipped to yellow, and then now we've been in a green trend ever since. So that one looks really good, or that's how I use them. And same thing on the daily chart. You can see red trend, and then it flipped to yellow, then it flipped to green, and we've been trending up ever since. So when these start to flip to yellow, then I'll start to get cautious. Like here, for example, they flipped yellow, but they flipped back green with a buy signal on high volume. And so then we got that move up. For now, it flipped back yellow. Okay, I'm cautious. We're back green. Now I'm still in a trending environment where I can continue to put risk on. Same thing here. Went yellow for a minute, then we went back green, and then we had this strong trend move up. So that's how I use those. Stop losses, use the moving averages for the most part, but ATR, but no bigger than like a one ATR stop based on the time frame I'm trading. I like to do smaller if I can. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Going once, going twice. All right, guys. BRK just in time. BRK.
Oh yeah, look at BRKB. BRKB looks really. I like it.
BRK.
This gym guy too. I like B.
All right, I'll check it out. So let's see. BRKB. Yeah, so this one, similar thing. We've gone from this explains the move in XLF because it's the whole largest holding in XLF. That's why it's had a little bit more lift
So
recently.
one thing I was looking at too, BR,
Uh,
is every time since like it was like 2020 that it's crossed above the 21 moving at the 21 day EMA since like 2015. Every time it has bounced back above it, it's ran. Like it sets it up for a good move. So the fact that I had signals with that knowledge of looking at the history, it kind of gave me like good confluence.
the 21 EMA on the weekly chart or the daily chart?
I was looking at the daily.
Okay. So we did have a rejection here, but we're starting to flip. And so this situation looks definitely different than this one here. We went from red to yellow back to red. Now we're flipping from back to yellow and then now green. So that's a good look. Um, I'd like to see this flip. One thing that I am seeing is like we've come down to this 50 and come down to it and hold and hold and hold. But so BRKB for me, if we're just looking at this, like really, it's pretty obvious right here, right in through here, right in through here, right in through here. We've had buy signals here, which went from 300 to 370. Then we've got here, so 350 to 430 here, 410 to 486, and then here 466 to 540. So for me personally, I'm not going to trade this until I get buy signals on the daily chart. And so, or on the weekly chart. So this one here, if this can flip to yellow, the trend bars flip to yellow, we get green trend bars like here. You can see we got a buy signal on a yellow trend bar, but then once we got green, nice move up. Once we
And
turn
I
green,
think I was talking about this on the wrong stock. I like BKRB because what you said, it's now broken outside of that low
yeah,
of the previous daily low or daily the high of the low came. Does that make sense?
on the weekly chart,
See, we're broken above where it's yeah. No, right where you are right now. See, now we're above that where the yellow is, that last
yeah,
high on the low.
yeah,
That's what I was looking at. And we like broken
okay, yeah,
above it.
yeah. So, yeah,
So and can you look at Capital One? That was one that was the one that actually Mike found. He's in this chat too. He might not be on the call, but he was
yeah.
talking to me and I liked it.
Yeah, so this one looks pretty good. I like that it's holding the green trend bars. It's got a daily squeeze. The squeeze is starting to fire. and it's bouncing right off the weekly 9. So yeah, I like this one a lot better than BRKB. BRKB could be something that sets up, but it's going to take some time, I think. It may take a few weeks, maybe a couple months, like kind of like how this happened here, where or here where we had this flush down to the 50, we reclaimed and then traded sideways for a few months and then had the move. I think that might be something similar here. Usually when you get this pop like this, we need the moving averages to reset, the 8 to come back above the 21, which is going to take a few weeks. And then it needs to retest 9 times out of 10. It needs to retest. See here, it didn't pull back below, but it needs to retest those moving averages, confirm that they hold a support, and that's almost always when it's going to end up lifting. So that's for BRKB. For COF, this one looks good. The only thing that I'm seeing is like momentum is starting to shift to the downside. But you've got XLF, which is rocking and rolling. The Dow is rocking and rolling. COF. So this one here, the daily chart looks good. So this could be a shorter term trade up into 230. So that one looks good. I would try to get an entry closer to the 9 EMA on the weekly chart to manage your risk. But yeah, that one looks good for upside. I think the banks do look good here. It's just they kind of started their move. So I would lean towards JPM. All the banks, if they're one's going to move up, most of them are going to move up. But like this one, I think has the best risk to reward and also held up really well when the market pulled back. So this one looks good and it's right at all-time highs and we're building higher lows. Yeah, this one, I like this one a lot. So it's still within the entry zone. I think you could get a pullback buy to 295, and that would be great. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Roku. So, okay, so this is just your classic like stage one base. So here, I'm not really interested in trading this because or until we break here. So here's the thing. Like when you're looking at this, you can see we're not building higher low. Okay, I guess we are building higher lows, but it still looks like we're really stuck within this range. Okay. So if you're looking at this, you can kind of see a difference. Like we've got a lot of resistance to surpass up here. And I think once it gets above 100, that's probably the better level to pay attention to. Then we could see a move up. But if we go to like, you can see a difference between like this and KWeb. Like this one, you can see is building higher lows. We're near the high of that base and we're building buy signals. Roku doesn't have any buy signals. Um, and just doesn't really have a setup. You can see buy signals here that took us from 77 to 104. Here did not or doesn't, so I'm not interested in it. ABBV, this one you're too late. This one you're too late. There was buy signals back here. I went over this a few weeks ago. I didn't personally trade it. Don't have any good reason why I didn't trade it, but you can see we had buy signals back in here, had a huge move up, buy signal here, had a huge move up, same thing here, and it broke 200 cleanly. There's nothing, there's nothing to do here. It's too late. It's already running. Kind of missed the boat. Okay. So, all right, guys. So that's all I've got. Thank you guys for joining. And like I said, or I put in the chat, tomorrow's the last day for offering a free one-on-one call. You can do that. Just DM me, and I can book you for a time to try it out. And we can go one-on-one for one session, see how you like it. And I mean, I'm going to give you value during that time, just like I do with anybody else. But I think it's worth your time. And just DM me if you're interested in doing that. But all right, guys, I'll talk to you later and see you for the markets tomorrow.
All right, my man.